She's just so excited about the 10 before the end. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna do my 10-ish before the end. So I've seen this video go around on booktube, and I've never done this before, obviously, since this is my first year on booktube doing all those types of videos, and I thought this would be so much fun, but oh my goodness, only choosing 10 books was so difficult. I don't know about you, but at least for me, I had such a difficult time. So I kind of made a little bit of a cheat, so you could say. So I have 10 physical books and then 2 arcs that are going to be a part of my 10-ish before the end video. So with that being said, I'm going to go through all my books, and if you want to go and add any of the books that you're planning on reading, or if one of the books in my pile also is a book that you have, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. So let us go through it. The first one on my list is Dread Nation by Justina, Ireland. We all know that I love books that have zombies and are a bit more apocalyptic. So for this one, it says Jane McKean was born 2 days before the dead began to walk the battlefields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, derailing the war between the states and changing the nation forever. In this new America, however, the battle for survival is as political as it is personal, and the restless dead, it would seem, are the least of her problems. So this one has been on my list, I think, for the past couple of months, and I know given the current climate in the US, this is kind of like a very rocky territory book, but I really do love zombies, and sometimes my way of decompressing is going and reading books like this, or even watching movies along the lines of this book. So I'm really excited to read this, and that's why I wanted to include it. I needed to have something that had zombies. I needed my zombie fix before the end of the year. Alright, and then the next one I have is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. Believing in yourself is its own kind of magic. So I've mentioned this book a few times on my channel, and I really want to go and read this book so badly. I just love the cover of it so much, and I feel like I would be upset at myself if I didn't include this in my list and I didn't get to it before the end of the year. So this one says, in this spellbinding, warm, and cozy debut novel, a burned-out witch will need to turn to her friends and trust herself to find the magic in her own life again. Belladonna Blackthorn hasn't lost her magical spark precisely, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. I feel like, especially with the winter and seasonal depression, this might be a good pick just to try to reignite the fire, so to say, of creativity and feel that spark again. I'm not personally feeling that, but I have felt a little bit meh and a little bit of a reading slump, so this book will kind of work for me to hopefully reignite all of those flames that I personally am missing right now. Also, Nuggie is chewing on her chew toy at the moment, so if you're hearing any of those noises, just be aware of that. I'm dealing with a new kind of angle placement for my videos, so please bear with me because I'm trying to figure out like the happy medium, what I like and what books I like being shown. So we're gonna mess around with the angle a little bit, and this will be a test video to help with that. So then the next one I have is Dungeons and Drama by Kristy Boyce. This one has been on my TBR for this year for quite some time. As we know, I'm a bit of a nerd. I play D&D. My partner got me into D&D, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and the sequel is coming out in December, and I feel like I really need to get to it. I've just been dragging my feet for too long, and I really don't know why. So this one says, Rolling the Dice on Love. No one loves musicals more than Riley Morris. Her dream is to be a Broadway director. But when the spring show is canceled, Riley has to figure out a way to bring it back. Easier said than done. She's stuck working at her dad's game store, the place that means more to him than his family does. Oofda. But yeah, this is kind of like, I believe, a fake dating book. And we know I don't do romance, but I do romance if it has a few things checked off. So if it has representation of some kind, a little bit of nerdiness, and I do particularly like fantasy romance as well, as long as there's not too much spice. If we can add some closed doors, I personally prefer it. But yeah, so this is another one on my list. Then it wouldn't be me if I didn't include a Darcy Coates book. So I have A Dead of Winter, and this book I am just waiting to read once we get another snowstorm. We got one the previous week, so I think last week if I remember correctly, and I was just a little bit blah considering a lot of things that had been happening, and I just wasn't really in the mood to read. So I am anxiously waiting for snow. Hear that, Colorado? Please, can I have snow? But I'd like to have snow so that I can pick up this book and read it, as well as some of my other snow-involved books. But this one says, 8 strangers, 1 killer, nowhere left to run. When Krista joins a tour group heading deep into the Rocky Mountains, she's hopeful this will be her chance to put the ghosts of her past to rest. But when a bitterly cold snowstorm sweeps the region, the small group is forced to take shelter in an abandoned hunting cabin. Despite the uncomfortably claustrophobic corridors and rapidly dropping temperature, Krista believes they'll be safe as they wait out the storm. Ooh, I can't wait. Apparently Kiko can't wait either. And with these books, I'm just kind of reading like a small paragraph or like one sentence just to kind of give you all a feel of the type of books that these are about, especially if you're interested in reading them as well. Then I have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one I believe I got for my birthday at the beginning of the year, and my 29th birthday is coming up. It's in January, but I would really like to get to this book as well. So it says, Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her He keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. I just really want to read this book. I know a lot of people have been raving about it so much, and I feel like I need to get to it before the end of the year as well, so that's why this is also on my list. Then I have Grace here by Kim Liggett, and I really wanted to also have a dystopian book, and I felt like this one would be a really good pick. So it says, no one speaks of the Grace here. It's forbidden. In Garner County, girls are told they have the power. In Garner County, girls are told they have the power to lure grown men from their beds to drive women mad with jealousy. They believe their very skin emits a powerful aphrodisiac, the potent essence of youth of a girl on the edge of womanhood. That's why they're banished for their 16th year, to release their magic into the wild so they can turn purified and ready for marriage. Oh my god. This kind of seems a little bit like Handmaid's Tale in a way, just with like those fears that we had a few years ago, and some of us are having similar fears now. If you know, you know, especially if you're in the US. So this might put me in an interesting place. This will either help me to decompress further or elicit new fears. We'll see. Then I have Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. You Can Make a Killing in Hollywood. I have really been wanting to read this book as well. I've had it, I believe, on a few past TBRs, and it's been staring me down nonstop. So with this one it says, Misha knows that chasing success in Hollywood can be hell. But finally, after years of trying to make it, his big moment is here, an Oscar nomination. And the executives at the studio for his long-running streaming series know just the thing to kick his career to the next level. Kill off the gay characters for the algorithm in the upcoming season finale. Ooh, I'm very intrigued and interested in this one, and I believe I also had it on my horror bingo board, so getting to this soon would be really nice so that I can make a further dent in my board. Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This one has been on my radar, and there's also going to be another book coming out which I believe involves a greenhouse. I've had some really good friends that have been telling me to read this book as soon as possible, that I won't regret it, and I'm hoping that I will get to it soon. So with this one it says, a lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spellbooks, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. Keela? I'm gonna say Keela. Has always had trouble dealing with people. Thankfully, as a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she and her assistant Kaz, a magically sentient spider plant, have spent the last decade sequestered among the Empire's most precious spellbooks, preserving their magic for the city's elite. I really want to read this, and it's about time that I do. Then there's We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer. I do have a video idea for this one where I read like haunted houses or scary things that happen at a new house that people move into, and I know a lot of people said that that sounds like such a fun video idea, even though I was like, this could be really good or really bad. but I think we're gonna do it. So this one is on my list to read before the end of the year. And just to read a little blurb about it, it says, Get Out meets Parasite in this eerily haunting debut and Reddit hit, soon to be a major motion picture about two homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents unexpectedly visit. I did not know that there was going to be a motion picture for this, so I feel like I need to do a read-through of this even sooner. Or I could also do one of those videos that I've done in the past where I read the book and compare it to the movie. We got ideas here. But it says, a young queer couple who flip houses, Charlie and Eve, can't believe the killer deal they've just got on an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. As they're working on renovations one day, there's a knock on the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived here years before, and asking if it would be alright if he showed his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, Eve lets them in. I've heard so many people say that this is a really scary book, and I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I promise I will get to this book. I'm hoping to read it actually starting this week, so keep your eyes out. And then this one was really difficult. I wanted to read one of the books that I have by Lizelle Sambury, and I believe I have one of the two on my bingo board as well, but I decided to go with Delicious Monsters. This one also seems to fit for like my haunted house idea for a video, so I think I might go with this one. It's a bit of a chonky boy, but I'm sure I'll get through it quickly. So it says, Daisy sees dead people, something impossible to forget in bustling ghost-packed Toronto. She usually manages to deal with her unwanted ability, but she's completely unprepared to be dumped by her boyfriend. So when her mother inherits a secluded mansion in northern Ontario, where she spent her childhood summers, Daisy jumps at the chance to escape. But the house is nothing like Daisy expects, and she begins to realize that her experience with the supernatural might be no match for her mother's secrets, nor what lurks within these walls. Alright, so those are my 10 books that are on my physical TBR, and then I have 2 more, so that's why this is 10-ish, that are arcs that I would like to get to, especially since they get released at the beginning of January. So the first one that I have an arc for is The Empress by Kristen Cast. I really like Kristen Cast and PC Cast. I love the way that they go and write about women and helping them remember the goddesses that they are. So when I saw that I got accepted for this arc, I was so thrilled and excited, and I really do want to get to it soon, especially since it's supposed to get published on January 7th. So that is one day after my birthday, just a heads up. And it says he's a ruthless, battle-scarred warrior with a dark past, and she's stuck pretending to be his wife to save a fantasy kingdom. The Arcana aren't just figures in a tarot deck, they're real. Terrifyingly real. That's what I learned when I found a tarot card in the snow and was yanked from my world and into Towerfall. The first thing the people of this harsh, cruel realm did was try to kill me. And they probably would have succeeded if Cain hadn't taken me to his hideout in the woods and nursed me back to health. This sounds so interesting, and as you might have heard in the past, I do really like books that involve tarot cards, especially as characters. There's a series called The Poison Princess by Kristy Cole. That is one of my all-time favorite series. I'm still not done with it yet because I'm holding on to the last book. I just don't want the series to end. So yeah, we'll see if this book kind of gives me similar vibes and excitement like that series does. The other one I have is No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lally. I think I screamed when I got accepted for this arc because I have loved this author ever since I read her debut, and I went and said I want to read everything she writes after. So when I got accepted, I was over the moon. So it says, some secrets just won't stay hidden in this twisty new thriller from New York Times and USA Today's best-selling author, Megan Lally. To Brooke, image is everything. She works hard to maintain perfect grades, perfect looks, a perfect life, especially after the incident that threatened it all. Getting into her dream university puts her that much closer to a fresh start. How can she say no to celebrating with all her classmates? Hanging out with her crush by the bonfire is the perfect end to the night, except it isn't the end. An old truck starts aggressively tailing Brooke and her best friend on the isolated road towards home. Someone thinks they know the truth about the incident, and they won't stop until it's all out in the open. This terrifying drive is about to bring out Brooke's worst fears, if she survives it. Like I said, this author just was so great with her debut novel that I feel like she just does these perfect twists that you might not exactly expect seeing. And so I'm really excited to see what happens in this one. And this also gets released on January 7th, which is the day after my birthday. So that is my 10-ish books before the end of the year. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if, like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, if any of the books that I mentioned in mine are ones that you also have on your radar and would like to read it before the end of the year, please let me know. Or if you have any other books that are on your list, I'd love to hear about them as well. As you all know, I have an ever-growing TBR, and I have a little bit of a problem with buying pretty books. So please keep sending the list towards me. With that being said, I can't wait to start reading these books. And as always, I love you all so, so much, and always remember that you're worthy and capable of amazing things. Bye, friends. Oh my God, no, you don't hurt books. That's not good. That's not good. She just threw her toy at the book. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the kiss. I appreciate you. You're forgiven. You didn't do any damage.